Hello fellow Avatar and Korra fans, I'm Avatar Up 4 here with my episode rankings, and my episode ranking list is something I've always wanted to make, and obviously I decided to wait until after Korra was over so I could get the whole franchise summed up. At first, to be a little bit easier on myself making it, to make it a little bit less tedious, I was going to just do Korra and then an Avatar list, make them separate, and then I just had to make it hard on myself and do the whole franchise, which equals like 113 episodes. So yeah, I got the idea from a podcast I listened to for Avatar and Korra, and I made tiers. My episode ranking tiers are legendary, excellent, very good, good, which good has the most in it because like I was saying a little bit, I don't consider any of the Avatar episodes really bad. They're just not like the other ones or boring compared to other stuff. I still think they're the average of Avatar and Korra. Both are just really good to good. So there's literally like, let's see, like 60 episodes from both shows and like good. So it made it really hard because I was like, okay, this one I liked a little bit more than this one. No, wait, I want this one to move up too. So yeah, the good one just really confused me, but it's done now, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So, and then after good is decent and then bad, but once again, I don't consider any of them bad. I'm just doing it by default and like, you know, in comparison to other Avatar episodes. So yeah, I'm going to start with from the bottom of the list, work my way up. Obviously, to not make this video so long, I'm not going to discuss what my reasons for every single one. If anything, I'll just give like a sentence response to each episode. And then the ones, like the bad ones and the legendary ones, maybe excellent even, the ones I think really deserve some and need some explanations. So yeah, those will be the ones I spend most time on. But yeah, let's get started, and once again, I'll try to not make this video very long. So, my least favorite episode of the whole Avatar franchise is Legend of Korra Book 2, Episode 4, Civil Wars Part 2. And as you could tell if you've been listening to my videos, I don't like Unalaq. I don't like the beginning of Book 2, especially in comparison. Once again, not really bad, but in comparison to the other Avatar episodes, yeah, kind of bad. I just never was interested in this. I remember when it was airing, I just did not care whatsoever. I was so bored. And I didn't want to be negative because it was Korra and I've been waiting literally over like a year and a half for this. I was like, stay positive. But it was really hard because I just still wasn't interested with all the Civil War stuff that doesn't even come back. It's not important at all. And the Civil War doesn't have any significance later on either. So the Civil Wars episodes just did not like at all. And then next up is Peacekeepers, the episode right after that one, episode 5 of Book 2 of Korra. And once again, this one kind of had to do with that, but it was related to Republic City instead. The animation was bad in it, in my opinion, and it just wasn't up to par with other ones. Once again, I thought it was kind of boring. And except for the ending where she gets swallowed by the giant spirit. That was exciting, but other than that, I didn't really care about the episode. And then The Great Divide, the notorious Avatar episode, which everyone pretty much considers but terrible. I don't consider it bad. Like, I think some people are too critical of it, but overall, I don't think it's that bad. But it's just in comparison to especially Avatar, yeah, because this is the one episode you could take it out and it would do nothing bad to the series. You could totally have the show without it. And literally, it's completely filler. Normally, filler is either like a good character episode or something, but this one is just really random with the tribes and their war and everything in between the tribes. So yeah, and then once again, those are the 3 in my bad tier, or by default. And then the bottom of my decent tier, I have original Airbenders. I don't like Jinora, if you could tell since if you've been watching my previous videos. That episode was really, other than I like the training stuff with the Airbenders, but I think it could have been a lot better. It was really disappointing for me, which dropped a lot of points right away. I was just like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It was Jinora talking to Tenzin saying, like, I'm a master, and blah, blah, blah. I need my tattoos. And it was just really annoying, and I don't know. But I think that's just a bias for me, because I don't like Jinora. I just did not like the episode. It was really disappointing. Civil Wars Part 1. Once again, it's the Civil Wars stuff, kind of boring. Just starting up everything. The Sting, the next one. I once again, up to especially episodes 3 to 6 of book 2, I just wasn't interested in. I was bored just throughout the whole thing. And the sting operation between Mako and Asami, which was an obvious setup by the triple threats, I just did not like. As much as I like Asami and I felt sorry for her when everything was stolen from her company, and I like the ending where Korra lost her memory, washed upon the island, setting up beginnings. The episode as a whole, it didn't work, in my opinion. Remembrances is the next one, and I feel bad putting it on here, but I just did it. So I can say I've done every episode. Just because Remembrances didn't have the full budget, and it wasn't really their fault. They had to make it a clip show because Nick slashed the budget without letting them know. So, but yeah, as a clip show, I don't think it's that bad, but in comparison to the other ones, obviously, it's going to be on the lower end of the list. Once again, I just decided to include it. It had really good character moments, in my opinion, for Korra. Like, she continues to inspire me, but not really, like, mean it in, like, a romantic way, just saying they could be friends, really good friends. And I like that. Bato the Water Tribe, I just, in comparison to other Avatar episodes, especially in Season 1, it's just one I normally skip when I rewatch it. It's just boring. And, apart from Act 3. Act 3 was really good. Especially with the Aang and Zuko fight, with Aang doing all his moves around the whale, the water, and how Zuko, yeah. I just loved the whole thing in the Abbey, and their fight on the roof and everything in June. That part was cool, and Iroh was funny, but other than that, no. Not really my type. Spirit of Competition. Episode 5 of Book 1 of Korra, a completely character-driven, but filler episode. But once again, like I said, normally filler has a purpose. This one, unlike The Great Divide, it did have great character moments and built a Bora and as a ship and Bolin and Korra's interactions, and it set up a lot of Bolin's character. And The Deserter, once again, one that I don't really consider good in Avatar standards. Jet, not really one of my favorites. It was so predictable in my opinion how he was the bad guy, and it just wasn't interesting to me. The Tales of Ba Sing Se, the Iroh one is great, but the other stories besides Toph and Katara's kind of friendship developing in that episode, because that's really the only time we see that. Other than the Iroh thing, I was really sad about his son, and him singing Leaves from the Vine that made me want to tear bend. Other than that, it wasn't a good episode in my opinion. It was just telling different stories, and none of them that I think they could have done a little bit better. But at the top, the very top of my decent tier, is King of Omashu, and I love Bumi as a character so much, and I love his jokes. Like, Let Us Leave is still, like, sometimes my phone wallpaper. I just love it, Let Us Leave, and I just laugh every single time. But that's why it's at the top of my decent, almost making it into good. But other than the jokes, it wasn't really that important. It, like, revealed that they could have found another way without going through all the riddles and everything, even though Bumi was funny during those and Let Us Leave and all that stuff. Other than the jokes, it was just Aang doing those challenges and going through. That was the whole episode. So, yeah. That's why I didn't really have the extra nudge that I was looking for to get into good for Avatar standards. Avatar Day, I just found it kind of boring, but the Kyoshi stuff was cool, but other than that, I didn't really care. Cave of Two Lovers, yes, it has Secret Tunnel, which was great. That was the only episode, and Katane. That was the only part that I really liked, and the setup at the end where, like, return to, oh no, Omashu was taken over. I love that ending. It was so suspenseful with the music and everything. But overall, as an episode, it wasn't one of my favorites. And The Calling and Legend of Korra, Book 4. I didn't, once again, it's the Air Kids, and besides, I like Iki and Milo, I just don't like Jinora. But other than that, not that much happens. They find Korra, but I don't know, I wasn't as interested in it as other ones. Then Legend of Korra Book 3, The Earth Queen. I didn't really care for this episode. It was probably, second to my least favorite in Book 3. Because I love Book 3, and Original Airbenders is my least favorite. And Earth Queen, I just didn't really, in comparison to the other episodes, it was really kind of boring to me. Yes, you saw Bossing Say again, and the Earth Queen was not nice person and annoying, and I had the Korrasami fight, but against the man, like the people stealing the money and stuff. But that was cool. But other than that, I didn't really care for the episode. Let's see. Welcome to Republic City. Once again, it's the intro episode. I didn't really expect that to be that high, but yeah. Because it's an intro episode, and I normally don't like intro episodes, just because it sets up everything. As an intro episode, it was good, but not in comparison to the other seasons. A New Spiritual Age. I love the art and design and everything, but once again, I cared about Wan Shi Tong and seeing Professor Zay, and it was the few times that I actually found Jinora likable. And to me, since I don't like her character, I actually didn't mind her in that episode, and it was kind of cool. But then the third act is just painful with the Unalaq and I'm going to soulbend Jinora, or you can. I really wish Jinora would have sacrificed herself. That would have been something. Just so no, Korra, I'll die for the fate of the world. That would have done something for her character. But that's kind of just me wanting Jinora to die. But I know I'm terrible. Rebel Spirit. Once again, book 2 an intro episode for Korra. It was good for an intro episode, I guess, but not one of the best. Endgame, the book 1 finale for Korra. I did not like the finale, really. It's probably my least favorite finale out of all of Korra. Even with the stupid plot things and inconveniences and Jinora showing up and saving Korra at the last minute, and Giant Spear Korra and stupid Unavatu fighting in Republic City was better, in my opinion, than the letdown of Amon being a waterbender. Because if you've seen my top 10 character list, I loved Amon, and then that kind of just ruined it for me. Light in the Dark, the book 2 finale, big plot inconveniences and just big plot conveniences and not just stuff not making sense. It looked cool, but overall I was just like, what am I watching? It was just so kind of stupid. But, it looked cool. Turning the Tides in Korra. Skeletons in the Closet was higher, but I still didn't really care for it in comparison to the other finale episodes for Korra Book 1. Because this was the one before Endgame, and it had to do with their backstory, and that was interesting. Until they revealed that he was a waterbender. And the winner is The Aftermath, The Guide, once again, Jinora. Darkness Falls, Korra. I need to start saying Korra or Avatar just in case some people might not rewatch them as much. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. So, if I don't have anything to say, I'll at least say Korra or Avatar, in case you don't know. Let's see. Darkness Falls, the first part of the book 2 finale for Korra. Better because of the fights. The fight was really cool between her and Batu before the stupid Unlock thing happened. Enemy at the Great Gates, Korra Book 4. The Stakeout, Korra Book 3. Just because of Korra and Zahir's talk is why it's this high. Everything else I did not care about at all. It was such a letdown after the awesome Terror Within. The Coronation, Korra Book 3. Long Live the Queen. Just the Queen suffocating and the Korrasami in the desert and the Bossing Say stuff. It was a really good episode overall, in my opinion. But some of it was just kind of just like, okay, can we move along? So yeah. The Boiling Rock Part 1. The Western Air Temple. Oh, I forgot to say. I'm in my good tier now. The past 5 have been in my good tier. And Appa's Last Days. As much as I love Appa, it was just not one of my favorites. It was good once again, but it was just the average Avatar episode. The Library. The Swamp, The Northern Air Temple, Winter Solstice Part 1, The Spirit World, Avatar. Oh, I didn't even remember to do that. Imprisoned, Avatar, Book 1. The Waterbending Scroll, Avatar. The Fortune Teller, Avatar. The Desert, Avatar. Beginnings Part 1 and Korra. In comparison to Part 2 of Beginnings, it was just really not on the same level as Part 2. Which is kind of to be expected because Part 1 is just the setup and introducing us to Wan. But I thought I did a pretty good job at introducing them because the first time we actually, we just found this character and I already, relate to him. They did get that good setting up his character. A Leaf in the Wind, Battle of Zaofu, Korra. Both of those were Korra. Rebirth, Korra. Probably one of the funniest episodes. When Extremes Meet, the awesome Korra versus Tarlok fight in his, in the council room. The Serpent's Pass, Avatar. The Painted Lady, Avatar. The Southern Air Temple, Avatar. Nightmares and Daydreams, Avatar. Hilarious. Boy in the Iceberg, great intro episode or pilot for Avatar. The Firebending Masters, Day of Black Sun Part 1. Sokka's Master, Avatar. After All These Years, Korra. Night of a Thousand Stars, Korra. The Runaway, Avatar. The Beach, Avatar. The Avatar Returns, which is the second episode of Avatar. The Waterbending Master, I just love Katara, so I love that episode in the introduction. First time seeing the Water Tribe blew me away, and that just stands out to me, and Avatar Book 1 especially. The Avatar State, Avatar. Sozin's Comet Part 1, the worst part of the 4-part finale. Once again, worst by default. Not really bad. It was still good for Avatar. The Boiling Rock Part 2, awesome fight and awesome Azula moments. Avatar. The Earth King, Avatar. Old Wounds, Korra. I thought it had more potential, but yeah. Return to Omashu, great fight scene at the end, and the first time we see the Azula and her friends fighting them. Yeah. Avatar. The Chase, almost making it into very good for me, for Avatar. Okay, now I'm starting my very good list at the bottom. Harmonic Convergence. It was a stupid plot point in Book 2, but yeah. The fight was really cool. One of the better episodes of Book 2 in my opinion. The Southern Lights, the second episode of Book 2 of Korra. I really like this episode in comparison to the rest of the first half. It was really interesting, and Tunrock's flashback and everything. In Harm's Way, Korra. Kuvira's Gambit, the giant mech introduction that blew me away, Korra. The Terror Within, Korra, probably one of the most creative and awesome fight scenes between the Red Lotus and Zaofu after they kidnap Korra. Enter the Void, great action moments, and Tunrock's almost death, and you get the weird Kuvira line read, and we were just like, who are you, Kuvira? The Ultimatum, Tenzin should have been death, and the awesome fight scenes. Sorry, Tenzin, I love you. I love Tenzin, but he should have died. I would have loved for his character to have made that sacrifice. But, you know. Out of the Past, Korra, the first time we saw the adult Aang flashback in its entirety. That's why it's so awesome. The Revelation, great revealing moment of Amon can take people spinning away, blew me away. Voice in the Night, which is Korra Book 1, and it's really probably one of my favorites of Book 1. And it was just so creepy, and how they dragged her into the dark, and Amon showed up like, I received your invitation, young Avatar. I was like, ooh. It was so creepy, it gave me chills. I loved it. Reunion, that's for Korra. Great Korrasami, the blush, and their dinner scene, and all that stuff. The Korra coming back and reuniting with everyone in Republic City after being gone for 3 years. Yeah. Beyond the Wilds, great episode, and you see Zahir again in Korra Book 4. It was great, their interactions, Korra and Zahir. That made the episode for me. The Ember Island players, the funniest episode of the whole franchise. They made fun of their own stuff, and it was perfect for what it was. It was great. The Avatar and the Fire Lord, great Roku flashbacks, probably one of the most interesting. The Guru, The Awakening, both of those Avatar. The Warriors of Kyoshi, Avatar. Sozin's Comet Part 2, The Old Masters. That was Avatar. Lake Lao Guy, Jet's Death. And I just love that episode for Avatar. We're kind of going to the upper end of very good, almost making it into excellent now. The Headband. Such a great filler episode, even though it was so, like, kind of ripping off Footloose. It was a great filler episode in Avatar Book 3, Episode 2. That was a great episode. Day of the Colossus. The first part of the Korra series finale overall. Really, really awesome action scenes. It was awesome. And then Hiroshi's death, or sacrifice, I guess you could say. And yeah, just the fight scenes were so creative, taking down that giant mech, even though they didn't really know how to defeat it. They were just kind of going along, flying through the city, throwing buildings at it and everything. It was just cool. Oh, it was so awesome. Siege in the North, Part 1. The Blue Spirit. Winter Solstice, Part 2. Avatar Roku. Epic. After when Roku showed up and, like, destroyed the Fire Temple at the end, that's one of my favorite moments of Avatar in the franchise history. But other than that, it was just kind of okay. And then the big reveal of the comet, obviously setting up the whole continuous plot throughout Avatar. Bitter Work, Zuko Alone, great Zuko episode. Maybe made him almost my favorite character behind Katara. Day of Black Sun Part 2, epic once again. The shock of Azula knowing the whole time and Zuko joining them finally, confronting his father. City of Walls and Secret, pretty perfect episode almost. It almost made the excellent list for me. I just love that episode in Avatar Book 2. The Blind Bandit, one of the best character introductions I've seen ever. For Toph in Avatar Book 2, Episode 6, I think. Okay, now we're going... Oh yeah, that was just shy of excellent. So we're going now into the bottom of the excellent tier. And these are almost best ever, not quite there. And let's see. A Breath of Fresh Air, the Season 3 opener for Korra. Probably one of the... I'd probably say the strongest opening episode that we have of all of Korra. Maybe even Avatar included in that. I love A Breath of Fresh Air. That was such a good episode. And the Zahir fight scene at the end, the first time we see new Airbenders, it was great. Beginnings Part 2. Part 2 of the excellent beginnings in Book 2. I didn't think of it highly after, in the break between the first time, I was all hyped for it, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite episode of Avatar ever. And then I was like, it's okay. And then, after rewatching it again, for the first time in like probably a year, that was awesome. And applaud to the creators and everything. That episode was really good overall. It wasn't just because of, in comparison to what we had of Book 2 then. Just overall, it was a good episode. The Storm, great setup for the characters, Aang and Zuko. Sozin's Comet Part 3, probably one of the most action-packed and epic episodes. Azula shooting Zuko, we're like, oh, is he dead? And then the awesome cliffhanger of Aang literally being told, like, to die by the Fire Lord. Prepare to die. And then it shuts off. Oh, it was so epic. The fight that we've been waiting for. And then the awesome music between Zuko and Azula. The Puppet Master Katara episode. And Bloodbending, which is a cool concept. It was so creepy. It really creeps me out, the sound of it and everything. The Southern Raiders Katara episode, once again. And also just the flashback of her and her mother. That was so dark, how they killed her, and I felt sorry for my baby, Katara. And I love that episode in Katara almost killing that guy, showing her skills. I love that episode. The Crossroads of Destiny, pretty perfect finale for Avatar Book 2. It actually ended on a sad note where Aang literally died. And that was probably the most shocking of all of Avatar or Korra. That, I mean, obviously, when you know there's another season coming, you know the main character's not going to die. So when he did, I was, what? Before they brought him back. But yeah, the fight scene between the episode's pretty perfect. Operation Beifong in Korra Book 4, a really strong episode. And yeah, just really solid. And the Sue versus Kuvira fight is genius. How she was moving around the metal and wrapping in, making armor for herself, and then flying around and throwing things at Kuvira. Oh, I love that for like 20 seconds. That was, oh. And just the Beifong's Toph coming back when she's old and bending, and yeah, made me fanboy. I love the episode. It's just really solid overall. Korra alone, Korra's mental arc, like overall, her dealing with her PTSD, that episode is just really, really good. And then the setup of Toph saying Twinkle Toes at the end. Yeah, it's just really solid. I can't really say much more. It began Korra's main arc for the 3 years that she's gone. And then they have the Dear Asami letters, which is a shipper's dream. And then the Meadow Clan. Almost one away from making it into the legendary tier for me. The Meadow Clan is pretty much a perfect episode in my opinion. Perfect episode of television overall. And the Meadow Clan is just so good. And the fight scene between Kai and Zahir is one of my favorites. The character introduction for Sue and Opal. I just love Zaofu, the whole concept of metal benders and everything. And that episode is like everything to me. That episode is awesome. But it didn't hit me quite as hard as these in my legendary tier, which I'm starting now. Number 4 out of all Avatar and Korra, The Last Stand, which is the final episode overall for Korra. And this episode, it was, what can I say? It was just so epic, and it closed off everything perfectly. You had Korra Sami, you had Korra and Kuvira in the spirit world, Korra sacrificing herself to save the enemy, like completing her character arc, then Varric and Julie getting married, and the episode was just so epic. And then the fight scene between Korra and busting in and picking out those guys and fighting Kuvira, bending the metal, it was so epic. And so yeah, The Last Stand, series finale for Korra, did not disappoint. Then the book 3 finale for Korra, which I liked a little bit better. Just closed off the closing episode for the near perfect season of television I've ever seen. Book 3 of Korra. It was just so good. And the fight scene and Korra being poisoned in the epic fight of Korra breathing fire, throwing everything, and the shocking deaths of the members that were left, aside from Pali. Gazan committed suicide. Pali's head got blown off, but that was in Enter the Void, which was another great moment. I forgot to mention that. And then Mingwa got electrocuted to death, and then Zahir got pounded, and then he lived because he had to come back in book 4. So yeah, that was just an epic episode. And then the ending, even though it has Jinora getting her tattoos, but that negative is just too little in comparison, and just not important in comparison to the other. The good outweighs the bad heavily, just because that's the only bad point. And Korra crying at the very last shot, it was so emotional, and I just wanted to cry for her and give her a hug. So yeah. And then Sozin's Comment Part 4, Avatar Aang, the series finale of Avatar. So these are pretty much, well, they're all finales actually. Sozin's Comment Part 4, Avatar Aang, and it's just so epic. The awesome Avatar State stuff. He is like kicking the Fire Lord's butt, and he's just like flying around, and you get the perfect ending of the Katang kiss and the setup, Where Is My Mother, which I didn't like then because I wanted to know, but now we know, so it makes it even better. And yeah, that was just such a solid series finale, and it was so perfect. And then it is my favorite episode of television of all time, since these are my 2 favorite shows. And after some back and forth conversation, deep discussion in my own head, and I will say that number 1 out of all of Avatar and Korra is The Siege of the North Part 2. And I know only one person, from what I've seen, thinks this as the best episode of the franchise. That's in the podcast, and that I was referring to later. That gave me the idea. overall, this episode has the least wrong with it, if that makes sense. I just think this episode just comes together so perfectly. You have the awesome Azula set up at the end. You have Zhao, well, we thought he drowned, now he's in the spirit world, but just that moment and him fighting Zuko for the last time, the tension and drama in that battle, then him taking out the moon, and the play of how they play with the colors on an artistic level, and then the waterbenders lose their power, and the firebenders, everything's black and gray because there's no moon, because the moon spirit was murdered by Zhao. And then you have Ko, which is one of the best moments of Avatar history. It's so creepy and epic, and yes, I love Ko. I love the moon spirit being destroyed, and then I love Yue's sacrifice to restore the moon spirit. And that episode is just perfect. So yeah, once again, Season North Part 2, my favorite episode of television of all time. And once again, saying my legendaries, the Book 4 finale of Korra, or the series finale of Korra, Book 3 finale of Korra, series finale of Avatar, and then the first season wrap up for Avatar. And overall, the up until the season finale, that's like definitely my, without just right away, I consider Book 1 of Avatar the worst out of Avatar, and the worst season just of Avatar, and one of the worst overall. And let's see, yeah, but I love the finale so much. It's just weird. But yeah, I know a lot of people, any of these episodes, these 4 episodes, I know a lot of people consider the Korra finale the best, the perfect episode of television, and some people consider the Avatar one, and some people consider the Book 3 finale. Pretty much I have everyone's opinion on here that I've seen overall, except for Season North's a little bit off, but that was my opinion and that other person's. So yeah, I'd be fine with any of those, and having anyone having those on their list. So yeah, that's been my episode ranking. Hope you liked it. Leave your comments, and since this is my first one, it was a lot to sum up. I could do a like 2-hour video going through every single episode in detail, but I wasn't going to do that. I just wanted to sum up, give points when I needed to, and yeah, hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts. Comment, what is your favorite episode of Avatar and Korra, and do you agree, disagree, my favorite, least favorite? Overall, I think these justify what I think of when I think of the seasons. My official season rankings, I think I'll just say it. Overall, the best season of the franchise out of the 7 seasons, which kind of is represented and through my list. There are a few differences, but overall, Avatar Book 3 Fire is the best. Then Korra Book 3. Then Avatar Book 2. And then closely behind to both of those is Korra Book 4. And then, let's see, Korra Book 1, then pretty much tied with Avatar Book 1, and then Korra Book 2 is the worst. That's my main layout. Book 3 Avatar, Book 3 Korra, closely behind Avatar Book 2, very close behind to that, almost tied, is Korra Book 4, and then Korra Book 1, then Avatar Book 1, and then Korra Book 2. Okay, yeah, that's my main layout, so yeah. So overall, I think Avatar's better, but yeah, Korra's really close. Korra had some really strong moments, so did Avatar. Just strong episodes. Overall, 2 great series, and yeah. Once again, hope you enjoyed my episode ranking. Thanks for watching.